Hi, 8th grade. Welcome to Lesson 1-4, Topic 1, Lesson 4. Today we're going to talk about cube roots. If you do not have your calculator, please go back to the back and get it. Remember, your calculator is the same as your locker number, is the same as your computer number. So example number 1, evaluate cube roots to solve problems. Leah is building a birdhouse for purple martins, birds that prefer cube-shaped birdhouses. What are the dimensions of each square piece of wood Leah needs to build the 216-inch birdhouse? Draw and label a cube to represent the birdhouse. So please remember that volume of a cube is equal to length times width times height. And a cube has all of the same sides. So that's why they use side times side times side. Since they are the three of them, and all three sides are the same, it's going to be s cubed. A number that is a cube of an integer is a perfect cube. So a cube of an integer. Here's your vocab word. The number 216 is a perfect cube. To find the value of s, find the cube root of 216. The cube root of a number is a number whose cube is equal to that number. So the symbol, it looks like the square root symbol, but it has a little 3 in the crook. Means the cube root of a number. So they see that 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. So that means that the cube root of 216 is 6. The dimensions of each square piece of wood are 6 inches by 6 inches. Let's try it. A cube-shaped art sculpture has a volume of 64 feet. Here's our volume again. Volume equals length times width times height. But we know it's a cube, so it is side times side times side. Since they're all the same, it is side cubed. So we need to figure out what times what equals 64, whereas they're all the same number. You can try a few in your calculator. 1 times 1 times 1 gives us 1. 2 times 2 times 2 gives us 16. 3 times 3 times 3 gives us 27. 4 times 4 times 4 gives us 64. Boom, that's what we're looking for. So we know it's 4 times 4 times 4, which is 4 cubed, which means the cube root of 64 is 4. So the length of each edge is 4 feet. Convince me, how can you find the cube root of 64? Well, we can either find the cube root button in our calculator. So we have two options. We can use the cube root button in calculator, or we can do trial and error. Just like we did before, we're putting in 1 times 1 times 1. Nope, that equals 1. 2 times 2 times 2. Nope, that equals 8. 3 times 3 times 3. Nope, that equals 27. So on and so forth until we get to 64. Example number 2. Evaluate perfect squares and perfect cubes. So please be careful. Check to see if there's a 3 in the crook or not. If there's a 3 in the root symbol, that means it's a cube root. If there's nothing in the root symbol, that means it's a square root. So we just did A. We know that the cube root of 64 is 4. 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. The square root of 100. So square root, we're only looking for 2 numbers. Let's write that down. Squares, we're looking for 2 numbers. Cubes, we're looking for 3. So what times what equals 100? 10 times 10, which means the square root of 100 is 10. Square root of 49. What times what equals 49? 7 times 7. So that means the square root of 49 is 7. Cube root of 8. What times what equals 8? That is 2. I want you to try the next ones on your own, so pause the video. When you are finished, press play and see if you got it right. Evaluate the cube root of 27. What times what equals 27? So we're looking for 3 numbers. And it is 3 times 3 times 3, which means the square root of 27 is 3. I'm sorry, the cube root of 27. Be careful with your language. Square root of 25. Square root means we're looking for two numbers. What times what equals 25? That is 5 times 5, which means the square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 81. So we're looking for two numbers. What times what equals 81? 9 times 9. So the square root of 81 is 9. Last but not least, what times what equals 1? Remember, they all have to be the same number. 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. So that means the cube root of 1 is 1. Example number 3. Evaluate square roots to solve problems. Sean cuts one sheet of colorful poster paper to cover the bulletin board exactly. What are the dimensions of the poster paper? Find the square root of the area to find the side lengths of the bulletin board. So we know the bulletin board is 144 inches, and we know it's a square. So area equals length times width, but we know in a square, both the length and the width are the same. So we can say side times side, which means our area equals side squared. So we need to figure out what times what equals 144, being the same number, 12 times 12. So the square root of 144 is 12, which means each side of the bulletin board measures 12 inches. You will need to cut a 12-inch by 12-inch sheet of poster paper. Try it. I want you to try this on your own. So pause it and press play when you are ready to go over it. Emily wants to buy a tablecloth to cover a square card table. So square, we know the lengths are going to be the same. She knows the tabletop has an area of 9 square feet. Again, area equals length times width. We know it's a square, so length and the width are the same. So we can say side times side. So we know it's side squared. What are the minimum dimensions of the tablecloth Emily needs? So we know that 9 is equal to 3 times 3, which is 3 squared. The square root of 3 squared is just 3. So Emily should buy a tablecloth that measures at least 3 feet by 3 feet. I hope you guys enjoy this lesson and get ready to watch the next one.